Must be 4 8. Got shit right in here. Come on. Am I with you guys still? Not seeing my regular Zoom window.
Good morning, exercise people.
Hey, good morning.
So quiet, it's unlike this group.
Yeah, it's Monday.
So my house is so empty from us getting ready to move that I'm probably going to stay on mute because I feel like it's all echoing really loud.
It does sound empty.
It is very empty.
So your
I
trainer's
actually,
last thing, trainer's
I have the computer on a clothes drying rack because we've gotten rid of all the furniture, so there's nothing for me to set it on.
so your trainer's gonna be the last thing you pack, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, hey, hey,
Connie.
how are you? Oh man, I might actually be with you guys finally.
Dan, I see you got the memo on wearing purple.
All right.
How did your Swift race go?
Not too bad. It was I thought I'd sign up for one race. It turned out to be something a little different, but it was all good. So
Good.
Could be. Wow. They might have made it.
So, Lenny, how are you feeling? You feeling better?
Craig, we can't hear you very well.
Oh, it's my microphone. Can you hear me now?
Little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm sorry. I was just asking Lenny how she was feeling.
Baby. Baby.
I'm better. Thank you for asking.
All right, right on.
We can if my anxiety and stress can handle all the changes going on in my life right now, I'll be good.
Excellent.
Exercising with all of you is making a huge difference.
Likewise.
Our other twin is heading back to Auburn today to join her sister. So it's a little stressful to have them not with us during all of this, but I know they're big girls.
All right, guys, can you hear me now?
Lenny, are they allowing them back on campus?
No, they're finishing out online.
Okay.
And one of my daughters got a job for the summer as a counselor at what they call Camp War Eagle. And it's where the incoming freshmen come in for orientation with their parents for 3 days. And they have moved that to online. So she'll still be doing it, but instead of doing like 3 days at a time, she'll do like Mondays might be her day to meet with freshmen on Zoom and do her part.
Got it.
And then the other one starts nannying May 1st for a family down there. I think it's May 1st. But finals are the last week of this month. So they kind of wanted to be in their own space to study and focus and be in their own rooms and their own apartment.
That'll be fun for them.
Yeah. I just finally got used to having them here.
Oh, mama.
So I'm in California. For the schools districts, we're looking at till next year starting in
Yeah.
spring. You guys too?
Yes.
Where are you at?
Alabama.
Okay.
The governor canceled all schools probably within a few days after Trump made the first announcement.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't wait, maybe waited like 2 weeks. But I do know of some places that still haven't called their school years yet, which is weird.
The boys, we haven't heard from CSU either.
So as a former teacher, I would not want the kids to come back to school and try to finish out a week or two.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
It would take you a week just to whip them back into shape.
Take longer than a
Shouldn't-
week.
Please.
Some of us would take the whole year, some of us.
Too, Lenny.
Lenny, has Auburn said what they're doing next year?
Not yet.
I think everybody's looking
How
for
many
the
twin
crystal
moms?
ball. I think everybody's looking for their crystal ball in the bottom of their closet.
Yeah.
All we can find is that crazy 8-ball thing.
We're all shaking it. Sorry, not today.
Connie, I am
No
so
light
glad you joined us. So good.
I just was talking to a friend and she said she can't wait to get back to church. And I told her, honestly, I'm really enjoying church in my bathrobe.
Me too. Pajamas.
I'm thinking the first Sunday I get to go back, I may just have to wear the bathrobe.
Oh, take
Imagine
pictures.
if they did that. That'd be so
Take
funny.
pictures.
My little second and third graders would love that.
Oh God, they would think it was the best.
All right, guys, finally got all the audio connected. Everything's good to go now. So welcome to Monday workout. So our challenge has ended, but the fun doesn't stop. Now it's going to be more of a, with the challenge, we had content that was, we had daily recipes, we had daily action videos, we had all this content, and now it's, the folks that are challenge page is still live and there'll still be content added, but there's no start and finish. It's kind of just the normal community page. Our page is called Healthy Community Healthy Challenge, and we called it that because it's an ongoing community, and then we'll have a challenge from time to time. If you're in the group and you sort of like didn't realize there was like how to do a Facebook challenge group, when you go into our group, click on units, and there's 4 different units, one for each week, and you can go through those. And when you finish one of the little posts, you just click the done marker, and you can still go through those. You can get recipes. There's 28 recipes in there. There's 28 action videos. An action video is like it's like a 3 to 5 minute topic with a to do like a task or an action. And then there's before and after photos in there. There's still a bunch of content. Well, all the content we just finished is in there. Boy, 126 beats per minute. I can't. I'm only talking and my heart rate's up. Look at that.
That tongue muscle.
Yeah, that might. Yeah. Intervals. So anyway, we're still going to be doing like right now until things kind of change. It's the standard working out. Mondays and Fridays we've been doing for years, and so we're still going to do that. So I'm glad that many of you guys joined us. We still have 14 that showed up today, so that's great. And today I figured we could do one of our old. It's called the Gorby. And this is more of a not quite as intense, but it's 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off. And we're just doing 5 of those. And Wednesday we'll do our high intensity tractor pull. And then, yeah, I know. You only can do that about once a week and get benefit from it. So we do that every day. And then Fridays we'll figure out something to do on Friday. Great job for all of you guys that came and showed up here. We're going to start our warm up here. For those that are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and grab some type of something. No matter where you're at or what you're doing, you can actually write or work out with us. You just have to basically go from a state of kind of a lower heart rate state and do a increased heart rate state. And pretty much getting your heart rate up helps you to process all those stress hormones, cortisol. It really is the best antidepressant ever created. And the beauty, I was talking to somebody here, Jessica, and she said she struggles with depression and things like that. And one of the things when you're depressed, that it's exercise is probably one of the last things you want to do. And actually the benefit of exercise as a mood changer is there's no negative side effect. It doesn't cause you any other issues with your body. I mean, you might have some soreness, but it's not a big negative. And then the other benefit to exercise is that you actually start to get stronger. And so it changes your mood the rest of the day. There's no downside to it. The biggest challenge you'll need, if you want to do exercise as an antidepressant, it requires community. It's the one thing you don't want to do is get up and do it. And so if you have a community, that will get you up and get you out there to do it. So now, anyway, so that's one of the things there that you might think about. If you know somebody that's depressed, invite them to a community workout session, and talk to them the night before, and remind them, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you show up tomorrow morning, as you said you would, right? That's one of those things that makes us all better. Showing up because we said we would. And speaking of showing up because you said you would, I don't know if Wes can hear us yet. He probably needs a few more minutes to get. Whoa, he's there.
Man, technical difficulties usually, but today it's working.
Oh man, that's good.
I'm technically challenged.
Yeah. We missed you last week, by the way. So I was just speaking of the idea of seeing people show up. I'm sure you had something going on, but I just, you were missed.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I
Yep.
forgot what it was now because it was a week ago. Oh, and but it was probably Easter and busy with company.
Yeah. Yep.
Now that I'm recalling, my son came back from college.
Okay, there you go.
And whenever the 20-year-old comes back from college, it seems like the whole world goes upside down.
So this morning we're just kind of getting our first warm up in. We got it's going to be a little, for some of you, while I was getting my technology dialed in, you're going to have a nice little bit of a a longer warm up. So we got about eight and a half minutes left. And then we're going to do 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off. Wes, you have to, maybe not with your shoulder, but Wednesdays we do this thing called tractor pulls. Oh, baby, look at the gun show. We did these tractor pull things where it's super easy, these little sprint things. So you might miss that, but anyhow.
So wait,
Look at how
what
many
was the
people
game you were glitching? What was the tractor pull?
Oh, I know what it was. Didn't hear me over that. A tractor pull was, I think, 25 seconds on, 2-minute rest, something like that.
Nice.
We did like 10 or 12 of them. These guys, believe it or not, all these guys that started showing up, they all like, those are my favorite workouts. Those really are.
I can do anything. I can do anything for 25 seconds.
Yeah, that's right.
Once.
Yeah, I can do one thing. Any one thing for 25 seconds. That's good. Well, while we're warming up here, we had just a few stats from our first of its annual convention, and I'll tell you a little bit of stats on that. We had about, I think, 2,000, maybe 3,000 people were registered to fly to Miami. Of course, that was for the registration fee. It was probably going to cost you $500 for the hotel and then train. So let's say $1,000 to go to this thing. And they took the registration fee down to $49, and it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we did it all on Zoom. We had 4 different Zoom webinars. The max of one room was 10,000, and then we utilized Facebook Live as well. And there was out of our 4, I told you guys a lot about our session. We had views, and we were thinking about the idea because really the whole philosophy and movement behind what we're doing with Optavia is we're trying to help people get out of the weight loss mentality, or technically out of the problem solving. You're just trying to fix the broken stuff in your life, because there's always going to be broken stuff in your life, and moving over into a way of let's first start with the life that we would like to picture of what we'd like, and then we'll problem solve with a purpose. And so it's a philosophy, it's a structure and a philosophy of how to live your life. And so we have, of course, one of those components is if your body is overweight or obese, that's going to affect everywhere you move, or you live in that body. And so one of the things that our specialty is in helping people get down to a healthy weight and stay there. Of course, then there's sleep, and there's water, there's mentorship, there's all these other components. Because what kind of life you want to live, and then building that over time. And of course, it has a lot more to do than just with the number on the scale. And so that's the big picture philosophy that we're really trying to, what we were talking about. The first session on Friday night, the first is, what if things in this world were happening for you instead of to you? When you had a challenge come up, what if that challenge was something that was for you to build you, rather than happening to you and you were just the mere victim of? And so those 4 different sessions, we've had over 200,000, and then we had just amazing sessions all weekend long. It was really great. But I'm curious to hear, I know some of you went to some of those. I'm curious if anybody went to one of the guest sessions, and if there was like what's your impression of the big picture philosophy was. Share a few takeaways. We've got about 3.5 minutes before our first interval. Nobody? Okay. All right, we'll see you guys later. Nice to see you. Just kidding.
My internet was
It's always dangerous when you just throw it out there, instead of calling on something. Did anybody go to any of the guest sessions Friday or Saturday?
I tried to, but the
Oh,
internet was too splotchy out where I was, so I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you went out camping with the tornadoes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been me.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful Saturday afternoon. We sat by the lake and we bought a house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was kind
What
of
a world we live in. You can buy a house while you sit by a lake. Isn't that great?
Isn't that amazing?
Was it a real house or an imaginary house?
No, it was real. It was we had put
Yeah.
a bid on a house and we heard back, and it's a house with 5 acres because I farm for our Tri-County Food Bank, and I needed a little more space than what I farm. So we needed a bigger place. So we did it.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's great.
I went. I
Hello.
watched it. I was on
What
and
day
watched
did you
it
go?
for 2 hours.
Say that again. Who? Amy, were
That
you
was-
talking there?
That was
Hi,
me, yeah. I went on Saturday, I guess. I signed in and watched for at least a couple of hours. Got to see many different people. I really enjoyed it, actually. I did it because you asked me to. And I'm a follower.
A lot of you guys just consider it. My new name is inviting people to something. So, yeah, what was
The
your? I know
invitor.
you had Yeah, the inviter.
What was that?
But I know, Amy, you had talked about, we all had these kind of ideas of what it might be. And I did too. When I heard about this whole program, these concepts and these ideas, and then I thought to myself, well, what if I'm wrong and there's something of value there? And so that's a funny story. I only have one toe, so I guess I could only toe dip. I checked it out a little bit, and then I hung around a little bit. And my life started changing, and and then I got to build community with you guys, all that kind of stuff. But Amy, what was the first session was kind of the mechanics of how to put yourself into a fat burning state, kind of how to kind of start to move things in a different direction. And then we talked about the business of building a small community or a big community of other people, the business of health coaching groups. So 30 seconds till our first one. Do you want which ones did you attend, and what did you think of anything that was like, man, I never thought about it like that?
I attended all of them almost. What I really enjoyed was the people that were speaking were real people, and it was not just one man sitting behind a camera. It was entire families. There were children. I mean, I loved it when all the kids got on. It was super cool. It was really refreshing, and I've been involved in several different types of programs, and I've never been in one where families will do TikToks together and to support the program. So I was definitely intrigued, and it kept my attention. So
great. All right, guys, we're picking it up here. First, so this is a 5-minute interval. So it's this was 165 watts for me. So that's probably a good 70%, maybe 75%. It's nothing terrible, but you want to see your heart rate kind of slowly start to climb. And remember, 5 minutes, that's kind of compared to 25 seconds, that's an eternity. And so just dialing it up, breathing through it. We got 5 of these. So kind of pace yourself. You definitely feel like it's increased difficulty, but it's not a sprint. Well, thank you, Amy. That gives me, it's always good to hear people, because sometimes when you've been around the club and you've heard the positive people talking, and you're just kind of in the community, and when you hear somebody else's perspective, like, wow, this was kind of interesting. This was neat. This was always good to hear why, and reinforces. We all need our own decisions reinforced. It's still a good decision. This is still something valuable, and all that input helped. I will assume that we got 2.5 minutes to go, and I'll assume that we'll do the talking during the 5-minute breaks.
Man, it feels like Monday.
Welcome to Monday. You are calibrated.
I left my tennis shoes somewhere in the motorhome. I can't find them anywhere, so I'm just in my socks this morning.
Well, I come to this workout regularly without my shoes.
No excuse, right?
That's cool.
There's always one leg joke, or lack of leg joke.
Sound of one leg hopping.
1 minute, 30 seconds left. Keep your intensity nice and steady. My glutes are still sore from the super slow-mo squats on Saturday. Whew.
I hear you.
Who said that?
Betsy.
Bessie, yeah. Oh, man. Almost there, guys. Less than a minute. Thirty seconds. Finish all the way through. Breathe. Ten seconds. Come on. Five, 2, 1. All right. The jog portion, where you're, if you're jogging in place, you can remove your hand, just hang them down to your sides. You want to see your heart rate drop? We got 5 minutes. Drink a little water. That's just the first one. For many of you, that's part of the warm-up.
Only if your name is Dan.
Yeah, I know, right? It's funny because Swift is it's weird thinking back about this. When you've used software, when it was first sort of being released, I'm one of those people that's an early adopter, and I love technology, just like people in Dynamite. And see the technology, they come like, oh man, that's fantastic. Well, they have this thing called Swift Companion, and I think we started using it maybe 3 months ago. And so whenever one of my Swift friends goes online, it sends me a notification. So-and-so is Swifting or Zwifting. And so I always see Dan. Oh, there's Dan Swifting again. Oh, there's Dan Swifting again. I'm like, okay, good job, Dan. It's inspiring, even though I'm not joining you on those. Even though I don't join you on those, Dan, it's sort of that reminder. Oh yeah, Dan's staying in the game. Okay, I can stay in the game. It's really great.
Hey,
Yeah.
I went to Friday's session, Craig, about staying above the drama triangle.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was with Dan Detmer, and he wrote a book called The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. And his idea, or one of the things they talked about, is we have a lot of leaders in this world, and an unconscious leader is a leader that's always reacting. Things are happening to us. They're either a victim or they're a villain, and they'll lash out at somebody else. It's somebody that doesn't really take responsibility. They're not a problem solver, or they don't lead with purpose. Own your stuff. Dive in and tweak stuff that you can, and let them. That's what he calls playing above the line. Is that with our natural tendencies, we play below the line, where it's always easiest to be a victim. It's actually first nature, not even second. First nature is to be a victim, and when you're hurt, you lash out. You become a villain. And he says we all go there. It's first nature, and I find that true. And then you can, when you're aware that you're there, conscious, you can shift your life and say, "Oh, I'm gonna do something about that. I'm gonna create something. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna shift." So that was sort of a background. What did you? What were the takeaways, or what stood out to you, Lenny?
Sorry, I keep muting and unmuting. Actually, just, I mean, really the whole thing. And then trying to think about times where, when he was giving examples where I had done the drama triangle.
Yeah.
And then trying to think about how I could have rethought that particular incident and looked at it differently.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Do you happen to have maybe an example that would be easy to share with us?
Not off the top of my head. My brain is so full of nonsense these days, it's hard for me to focus.
I get it.
I was lucky to unmute and spit that part out.
The idea he talks about is breathing. Breathing is a way to change the chemistry in your brain from bad to good. And so as we go through all these things, anything in life, okay, we're picking it up. Here's our next 5-minute interval. If you learn to breathe, breathing is like a change of chemistry. You pour in good chemicals and you flush out negative chemicals. Just by simply, it's not just normal breathing, because we're just deliberate breathing, where you slow down, you pay attention to your breaths, and you breathe intentionally. And that pours in those good chemicals into your brain. I guess oxygen is technically a chemical. Right. So we're picking it up here. We got about four minutes to go on this second of 5 intervals. You should be seeing your 0. Guys, I just died. Sorry. I don't know how I'm talking right now. Oh, 112. There we go. I'm alive again. Yeah, here's something that stood out to me. When I heard you might even think about picking up that book, even just the first 3 chapters, 15 commitments of conscious leadership. But they said we're open instead of closed, rigid, and defensive. Yeah. And so I'm very defensive, by the way. That's one of my superpowers that I'm trying to get rid of. And I try to defend myself because my ego is so fragile. And I feel like it's a therapy session with all of you. Anyway, they said, what if you were open and conscious, and so you were curious without judgment? And so I asked a few more questions about what that meant. What's it mean, curious without judgment when it comes to myself? And the idea was, when something happens, maybe I notice I'm feeling something. Maybe I'm feeling threatened. Maybe I'm feeling lonely, angry. Whatever the feeling is, it's just a feeling. If I'm curious, and I'm not judgmental to myself, it's almost like my subconscious mind is fairly timid, and if I'm aggressive, it'll go hide. So I can't learn from it. And so when I notice myself reacting or being defensive or wanting to isolate, the question I would say, isn't it interesting? I fill in the blank. And when I started doing that, isn't it interesting? That's a curious statement. Isn't it interesting that I'm feeling this way? I wonder what's going on. And then I gain more information or more insight. And then I'm able to go, and then I'm able to say yes or no. And then I could go, and that process has been very, very beneficial. Still working on things, but it's like I'm becoming less defensive as I'm curious. Isn't it interesting that this is how I wonder what's going on here, and then how do I want to feel? It's been helpful for me. The first place it's been helpful is in my marriage. It's interesting. I'm feeling angry and like I want to, act. And then I slow down and say, why am I feeling that way? How do I want to feel? And am I just avoiding ownership over something that I'm still working on all those? Best. Whew, that went quick, didn't it?
What, is it over? I didn't hear you count.
Yeah, relax. We're on our. I looked up and there was 4.5 minutes left, and I'm thinking, oh no, that wasn't 30 seconds. That was 5 minutes.
So do we get a rebate on our membership for being your therapists?
Yeah. Yeah, all of you, I'm going to give you 100%.
So I'll share, so you don't have to, so you can catch your breath.
Thank you, Tammy.
I am in the process of separating from my husband of 26 years.
Oh, bless your heart.
The good news is that everything that was good about our marriage is still good, which is friendship and teamwork, I guess, for lack of a better word. But we just want very different things from a marriage. What a marriage means very different things to us. So one of my very good friends tells me that I, no pun intended, I spin. I get in my head and I spin. What if? And all of a sudden I'm despondent and sad and angry and frustrated. And it's interesting. I can't remember what she calls it, but my therapist does the same thing with me. Why don't you be curious with those thoughts instead of latching on and being victim to them? Why don't you try to separate yourself from them and ask questions? Why are we thinking this? Why are we worried about this? Why is that even in our head? That's the possibility of that happening is almost zero. So I found their lecture reassuring because I'm an only child too. So when I hear that other people have the same issues, it's like, oh, so it's not just me.
Yep.
So I found it I can't think what the right word is, but I felt like, you know what, it's just all going to be okay.
Yeah.
Just take a deep breath.
Comforting.
Comforting. Yeah, comforting's good. it felt supportive
Uh-huh.
that, you know, it's all going to be okay.
Yep. See you later, Teresa. Thanks for joining us, champ.
Hey, Teresa.
Hey. Hold on a second, Teresa. Before you go, let's get your photo here.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, hold on. Don't flex too early, guys. I got it. My fingers numb. There's like a 4-button keystroke. You got it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Got it. I made it. Hey, Tim. Good to see you.
You guys have a good day,
Hey,
okay?
Teresa, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Great job
Bye,
being
Teresa.
consistent, girl.
Yeah, man. I find it interesting that I'm able to look back and see how things, like I learned from them. But when he was talking about trying to learn from it in that moment, that's
Yeah.
like the hard part, to
Yeah.
in that moment when you're feeling angry, frustrated, or hurt, to really stop and try to look at it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, another piece of advice that I got. I don't know if you'll be able to remember this later, but there was 2 questions really helpful. First of all, one was a statement. Give yourself time because you're trying to transform a way of living and a way of thinking, right? And if you're impatient with yourself, you'll go hide. Your subconscious mind will go hide. So give yourself time. Transformation is a process, okay? Don't be critical or harsh, or don't be a villain to yourself. So transformation takes time. Give yourself grace. That was the first one. And the second question, this is kind of haven't done journaling. It could be your superpower. All right, we're picking it up here. 5 minutes. The second one is the idea. Here's a question you can ask yourself. What no longer belongs? What no longer belongs in my future as a conscious leader, or as a loving spouse, or as a good citizen? You know, whatever it is, this person you're trying to be, what no longer belongs in my future of a person? The first time I asked that, my subconscious brain said, being defensive, here you go. I was like, oh, okay, write that down quick. It wasn't a surprise, but so ask yourself, what no longer belongs in my future? A awesome mom, or as the spouse that I hope to be, or as an employee, or as an employer, or whatever it is. You can fill in the blanks. What no longer belongs to my future? And then as you write that down and you continue to ask yourself that question, you'll get into where you need to work. And then be graceful. You want your subconscious mind to come out and play ball with you. You don't want it to go hide because its ego got hurt. Keep all the insight to itself. Well, say, well, I'm still getting to know myself. And I always thought, what a weird thing to say. You've been with yourself your whole life. You should know you better than anybody. And I think as I'm learning more, we're getting to know basically how we're act, and then we're starting to adopt those if we're conscious. This is number 3 of 5. We're we're actually at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so we just passed the halfway mark of the entire workout and of this interval. By the way, if this conversation while we're working out, we are triple dipping here. We're building friendships, we're having deep conversations, and we're exercising. Oh my goodness. If these are interesting conversations and they're thought-provoking, we can have more of these. We actually have a whole coaching community that we talk about this stuff all the time, and it's so alongside other people. And then we get to help others. Which, I don't know about you, but I've heard so many people say, I'm a people person, and I just want to serve people. Oh my goodness, what a fantastic thing to say. 20 seconds. Way to go, guys, way to go. Whoever's ever heard of the book called Spark? It's been out a long time. It's called Spark. The yellow cover. Anybody here heard of that, Spark? It's all about how when you're exercising, your brain, up to a certain intensity level, is able to retain information, imprint at a high level. Dan, have you read it? Spark? No.
Oh, I haven't heard of it, Craig.
Oh yeah. So it's actually, I was listening to it on Audible while I was working out, which was ironic. And they said up to a certain level, when you're learning, while you're at elevated heart rate, up to a certain threshold, your brain retains the information better and you learn more. Of course, there's a point of diminishing return, but up to a certain point. And so, oddly enough, what we're doing today, talking about sort of how we're showing up in the world, how to be conscious, how to learn from ourselves, all this kind of stuff, while we're at elevated heart rate, we're probably getting a double, triple dip, quadruple dip. Did someone say dip?
Dip.
Okay.
Is it time yet?
Yeah, it's just time. Yeah, jog. What's that heart rate? Drop down. Hey, Lenny, what are you learning? Because I know you're using the sleep cycle. And after Lenny goes, if others of you started using the sleep app, give us some insight.
So, because I struggle so much to sleep, I've trained myself to just lay there very still. So that sleep app thinks I've fallen asleep in 5 minutes. So last night I decided to check it for real, and every time I tossed and turned, I went, not asleep. So it was legit and said it took me an hour to fall asleep.
That's good.
The sleep app's watching you, and you're watching the sleep app.
Exactly. Because the first few times I thought it said I fell asleep in 5 minutes, and I know that's not true because I got up and went to the bathroom once during that 5 minutes.
So the data's still
yeah.
You can't technically breathe whether you're sleeping or not.
Exactly. It just knows if I'm moving or not moving, and in my effort to try to sleep better, I try to do all the things they recommend. You know, I don't lay there for longer than an hour. If I do, I get up and walk a few laps and then go try again. I try to lay there and just be still. But, you know, we women of a certain age, and you know who you are, not Wes, but you know who you are.
Wes is
We
like
have hot flashes, and we can't sleep very well, and we get nice and cozy, and then it's too cold.
Or too hot.
Great.
Yeah, there's a couple things you can think about. It's called, the term that Dr. Anderson uses in the life book is sleep hygiene. You can sleep hygiene. And one of the most important things, there's two things that are important on hygiene. Does anybody want to take a guess at what the top two things are?
No screen time.
Screen time. So lights. Yep. The how intense the lights are,
And the temperature.
Yep. You guys are so good. Yes. Those are the two most important things: is light and temperature. And so here's something I was thinking about. I think about this particular one for a while. What's one of the last things we do before we get into bed?
Check your phone.
Check your phone. Usually before that, you usually go to the bathroom, right? And I don't know about many of you, but based on your dental hygiene, you probably brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth, yeah.
Everybody except Wes, right?
That's right.
Exactly.
So think about it. When you're in your bathroom, the lights are bright because it's also for the morning routine where you got to see your face, you got to see what's going on. So one of the last things you do within 20 to 30 minutes before you go to bed is you go and you brush your teeth, and the lights are very, very bright. So what if you ordered a night light or a dimmer switch for your bedroom and your bathroom, and or maybe you had a reasonably bright night light that came on, and you could still brush your teeth and move around in your bathroom without turning on the main light. And that way, an hour before you go to bed, you turn off anything with a backlight or anything with a bright light. So you can read a book, a nice yellow, warm light. But that's one thing. And so that's just a simple thing that you can pay attention to, is how bright is your bathroom? How bright are the lights around your house within an hour before you go to bed? Now, this is for folks that don't sleep very well. For folks that do sleep well, this may not be as important to you. And then temperature is the other one. Okay, this is our fourth. We are almost to the end. Pick it up. We're on our interval phase here. Picking up the pace. 150 to 170 watts, if you have watts. And so, and then you give yourself a little bit of time for things to see if they're improving. But Dr. A calls it preparing for hibernation, because you kind of hibernate each night while you're asleep, and your body rebuilds a bunch of chemicals. You repair a bunch of cellular things. Your body goes into a low power mode, and it's repairing, and it's almost like it's running diagnostics, defragmenting your hard drive. All these different things are happening while you're sleeping. And if you get less than 7 hours, that's an area of opportunity for you. Their first goal would be to move it up over time. Maybe every week you go to bed a half an hour earlier. You try to get your 7 to 9.
So is the heat supposed to be up or down before you go to bed?
Yeah, down. Ideally,
Down.
we run our AC at night, or we used to run our AC at night, even in the winter. Depends on where you live, I guess. Try to get it to 66 to 68 degrees in your house. Well, for some of us, we found that instead of cooling down the whole house, what if we just kept the temperature cool between the sheets? Right? And so we bought this thing called a bed jet. It blows room temperature air at whatever volume, high volume or low volume, kind of in through your sheets. And what that does, it keeps you from overheating against the mattress and then having to turn because you're sweaty or hot. And if you've got a Tempur-Pedic mattress or one of those memory foam toppers,
They're hot.
you get really hot. And so,
Hot.
yeah.
Stop.
Did someone just say they're hot?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you here's a couple tips, because sleep is something my wife and I have been working on for our whole marriage. And if you could, we found recently we're using bamboo sheets. Bamboo sheets are, I don't know, kind of off the sheet. And so the bamboo sheets seem to dissipate the heat quicker. We've got one of those Tempur-Pedic. It's a hybrid of latex foam and memory foam and springs, whatever. And then we have the bed jet. And so we don't turn on the AC anymore. We just allow it to turn off at night so it naturally cools down in the house. And then we really worked on our lighting. Sleep is a super important one. How's your sleep changing, Lenny? Because you've been writing, you've been at least 3 days a week doing intervals, doing hard stuff. How's it changing, or what's
You're kind of breaking up, so I'm not quite sure everything you said, but I've been sleeping a little bit better. I'm not up and pacing at 3 o'clock in the morning. And we have blackout curtains, and my poor husband has to sleep in long sleeves and long pants.
Oh, wow.
Because that room's cold.
Just tell him you'll snuggle up next to him.
He asked me if I will just heat up his side of the bed before he gets in there, and then I can roll over to my side.
My wife says that about me. She's like, when you get into bed, get on my side and warm it up.
I actually enjoy when he's out of town, because then I can go from cold spot to cold spot throughout the night.
Yep. Yeah, that's another thing about the bed jet, is it can be hot, or it can go room temperature all the way up to 109 degrees. So you get it on heat, and it warms up the bed. You get into it. It's almost like your bed just got out of the dryer, and it's nice and cozy.
Well, the new house, the master bedroom has all full-length windows, glass. So the first thing we're buying is inserts for the windows so I can close them.
Yeah, jog. Yeah.
Can I say something, please?
Yeah, go
ahead. I'll talk slowly. Hopefully everyone can hear. Just real quick, I wanted to go back to the topic from before. Oftentimes people are upset with themselves and they're projecting on others, or they're upset with their thoughts about an issue rather than what's actually happening. Get that?
Yeah. So you're upset about the story in your head, and it may not be what's actually happening. Is that what you mean by that?
Exactly. We get upset with what we think is going to happen or what we perceive that is happening rather than actually what is or isn't happening.
Yeah.
Or why something is happening.
Yeah. Well, and even on the why, sometimes it's like, what if it just was, and we don't really know why, but we're just curious and try to learn from it. I know I have a good friend, his name's Dirk, and he goes, I'll tell him something that's going on, and he'll go, is that really what's happening? Or is that just a story you're telling yourself? And I'm like, oh, let me think about that for a little while. Oh, it's so helpful.
Yep. That's our perception of what we perceive as happening or not.
Yeah.
So I'll turn it off now.
No, that's good. Thanks, Betsy. Well, and as you're going through this kind of this idea of how we're thinking, at least maybe some of these thoughts are like, well, I've never thought about it that way. And it may be your perception is spot on, but it might not be. And what if you were curious about, hey, I'll tell you a story. This is a great example that helped me a lot from the book. this teacher got a new job, and she went to school, and she's walking through the hallways and everybody, and it's her first day there, and she comes home, and her husband says, "How was your first day at work?" Sounds kind of normal. We've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on this easy phase. This is our 4th out of 5.
What?
Yeah, we're going easy right now. We got 2 minutes left until we go hard again.
What?
I know, right? You're a beast. You're a beast.
Bad, because she was going hard.
You were going for like 8 minutes. Look at you, champ. Not even
I know,
warning.
it's like, gosh, Connie, that's your warm-up?
Now you should just keep going to the next one. You should just keep going to the next one.
I didn't get the memo either, so.
You can't shut up long enough to count out the stuff.
Yeah, I need to have like a, when my screen is kind of blue or red, it means stop. And when it's green, I don't know, Zoom doesn't have that yet. But so this wife, she comes home and husband says, "How was work?" And she says, "Horrible." I says, "Well, what do you mean?" "Well, nobody said hello to me. People were rude. Nobody likes me. I just don't think I fit in." And he goes, "Well, so what happened?" "Well, I was walking down the hall and nobody made eye contact with me. And nobody said hello. Nobody cared that I was there. You know, it was my first day and nobody said hi, you know." And she says, "Well," he says, "Well, what did you do?" "Well, I was nervous, so I didn't say hi to anybody because I was nervous because I really didn't know anybody." And he says, "So what if tomorrow when you go to work, you just said hi to people?" Actually, what happened in this particular situation is when she went to work the second day, everybody said hello to her. And they had a big board meeting or a big group meeting, and they said, "You came back." And she said, "Well, what do you mean?" She says, "Well, anytime someone has their first day here, we want to see if they'll come back, if they have what it takes to be one of us. So we intentionally don't say hi to anybody. It's not because we don't like you. We just wanted to see if you had what it takes." And so the story she told herself was they didn't like her, but it actually had nothing. It wasn't true at all. And so be careful with the stories you tell yourself. And if you're going to tell yourself a story, make up a good one. All right, here we go. Here's our last 5 minutes. So, Connie, pick it up.
I need a vacation.
Yeah. By the way, if you guys can see, I do have the Zoom workout on one of the little screens. You might have to be in gallery view, or you can pin that screen to the front, and then you can see kind of heart rate, how much time I have left, all that stuff. So it's interesting, the stories we tell ourselves.
If you have your glasses on.
If you have, yeah. You either have to have your glasses or your hearing aid, I guess, in order to make this work.
Yeah, fuck you, Craig.
Whoa. Yeah.
We just went to PG-13 there for folks. 3 minutes, 40 seconds. This is our last one, so if you have a little bit more in the tank, you can dial it up a little bit of percentage. And get your heart rate up a little bit higher. Way to go, guys. Way to go. Good job, everybody. 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes. Okay, we're halfway. Whew. Breathe in circles. 2 minutes. Come on now. Don't quit, guys, don't quit. One minute. Try to relax. Work on technique. Circles. Seconds. Pick it up if you got more. Sprint. Go. 2, 1. Okay. Woo. Good job. Keep it moving for 30 seconds. It's just easy. Keep it going, guys. Good job. Nice and easy. Good job, gang. I'm sure this goes without saying, but I'm grateful for each one of you guys. And this is a little Monday morning community. Thank you for showing up. I knew you'd be here. So Wednesday we're going to discuss pop culture and poetry. How's that sound?
Sounds terrible.
I won't be leading that discussion.
Poetry and tractor pulls.
Tractor pulls, that's right. We'll be discussing farming and pain. Oh boy. Actually, that's something you guys, every Wednesday night at 5:30 Pacific, that's 8:30 Eastern, we do a 1 hour our weekly community healthy living. And for those of you that are watching this on recording, because I know many of you can't write it down, I'll just say it. Every Wednesday, 5:30 Pacific, we've got a 1 hour session where we talk about life transformation, about mindset, all these different things. It's 1133 12513. I'll say that again. 1133 12513. But if you just want to know about our Wednesday weekly community time, there's no working out. Everybody there's kind of wimpy, right? Compared to all of you guys. But it's some great community, great conversation. We have about 4,000 people that tune in on any given week. And so you can, if you want to know more about that, you can let me know. That's been going on for about 15 years.
Craig, if I can just add one thing to that too. The Wednesday nights are incredible. I decided to do a wellness week for my school since everything's virtual.
Yeah.
And I can send you the flyer, but if anyone's interested, I know many of us are doing everything virtual right now. So we definitely have to keep our minds and bodies healthy.
Yeah.
My sister's waiting for me right now. I'm going to go on a walk, but you guys have a great Monday.
So this is your workout. Good job, Maureen.
Bye. Thank you.
I'm Maureen.
She 4 weeks ago, she'd only done yoga once in a while, maybe a little bit of wild walking, and she joined our challenge, and she showed us 5 days a week for the last 4 weeks. Oh my goodness, has she like just blossomed? Oh my goodness, many of you have done that. You just come back. What's up, Amy? You taking a photo? Oh, you're on mute.
Whose steps are bigger, Craig's or Wes's?
Craig's.
Pam's.
Actually, I think it's Pam's.
Pam's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely not mine.
Yeah.
They're growing. You
They're
look with man arms. You want to have awesome woman arms. Of course, that is just my opinion. That would
Hey.
Bam, whoever that was.
Hey, Craig.
Yeah, Wes.
Hey, talk about the difference between like that lady who did just yoga and now jumping on this that's building strength. Now, talk about how not only getting in a fat burn, but also does building muscle help burn fat. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
Ooh, before you do that, I'm going to say bye-bye. Thanks, everybody. See you when.
Bye, Tammy.
Good job, Tammy. Yeah, the idea, some people say.
Or you can save it for next week. I mean, if you want to save it for next week, I get that.
Well, I'll forget by next week.
Oh.
I'll forget by about 10 minutes from now.
Yeah, put on your hearing aid and your glasses.
We can talk on Wednesday because Wes needs to show up on Wednesday for sprints.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
Calling me out. Lenny's calling me out.
I'm calling you out, dude.
With a lovely lady. I won't go into much detail, maybe later, but your metabolism, a lot of people say, oh, my metabolism is slowing down. And metabolism is based upon how many calories, the rate at which your body burns calories. So if you burn 1,000 calories a day, you have a certain speed of metabolism. If you burn 2,000 calories a day, you have that would be a faster metabolism. So some people say, well, I've got a slow metabolism. And oddly enough, if metabolism is based upon calories burned and muscle burns calories, if you can add muscle, you can increase your metabolism. So sometimes it's sort of a misunderstanding of how the whole thing works, that you were just given a slow metabolism and there's nothing you can do about it. I don't know about you, but that seems like a little bit of a victim, kind of a victim mindset. And we got a new person working out with us today. Coming in here with Amy. What's up? She's got a personal mechanic. Love it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I'm having him crank the tension on my bike a little more.
Nice. Too much. Amy,
So she's getting stronger.
She had to upgrade her difficulty level. And so anyway, the idea is as you lift weights, all human beings that have muscle, when we stress our muscles and they can't do the work, they grow stronger. It's just the way it works. It's God's gift to us is we just grow stronger when our bodies get broken down. So if you could add muscle, you can increase your metabolism. There's also certain ways that you can eat that can, like small, frequent meals throughout the day, can also increase your metabolism. So here's the deal. 1 pound of pure muscle burns 70 calories in a 24-hour period. So if you put on 10 pounds of muscle, it's 10 times 7, that's 700, or 10 times 70, that's how many more calories you will burn in that day. Now here's the other component. Muscle takes time to build. Just like building a house doesn't happen overnight, it's many months. You can put on, with strength training and the proper nutrition, you can put on approximately 1 pound of muscle a month. That's with working out regularly. Super slow-mo is a great way to put on muscle. So if you want to put on 10 pounds of muscle, you don't take a month off, it's going to take you about 10 months. Right? So muscle grows slowly, but then it's just, you don't have to do anything. It's just at rest, it burns 70 more calories per day. Now, when you're exercising those muscles, they burn more. So that's how you guys can increase your metabolism through strength training over time. Did that answer?
Totally off topic, but as you were talking, I'm spinning and all of you froze, like right in mid whatever, and yet I was still spinning. I really thought the apocalypse happened, you guys all got called up, and I was left behind. Freaky.
Nobody's called me up.
Good Lord.
Still here.
That's funny.
It finally closed out and then reopened all on its own. I guess God decided to change his mind on you people. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, you're still here. You'll be here Wednesday.
Okay, have a good one, people. We'll see you Wednesday. Wes, I'll see you Wednesday, Wes. I'll see you.
All right, guys, see you later. Thanks for joining us. Wednesday will be our short sprints. Make sure you get your amino boost in if you have amino boost. Now's the time to drink that and give your muscles all that stuff to grow stronger. Good one today, everybody. Do you have any additional questions on some of the things we talked about, or you want to kind of dive in and coaching and how to be part of these kinds of things? Let me know on that too. I have those. We explore and that stuff all the time, and it's so much fun to work with a group of people like you guys. Amy, thanks for what you contributed. Bessie, that was awesome. Konzo, even you. All right, Wes, we'll see you in a week. The rest of you guys, we'll see you on Wednesday. Have a great Monday, everybody. Make it a good one.
Bye, guys. Thanks, guys. See you Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.